Welcome. We're now doing the applications for the martial poetry series, videos 16 through 20. So the first application is from Reincarnated Crane. So give me that hand so that you can see best on the camera. So the application is from this movement here, is always trying to go around their intended target. So whether this is a guard or he's intending to punch me, same kind of idea. I want to meet and then go around. Because the crane is assuming that it's like smaller than what the opponent would be. You can assume that if you're the crane, he's a tiger. I'm not gonna jump on the tiger. The tiger's gonna jump on me if that's the case. So we take into that idea of, again, changeability, the reincarnation aspect of the poetry, of constantly morphing and changing. So instead of maintaining this space here, I will morph and change as I go towards his vulnerable areas on towards the sides. So I'm never going full at him. So if he goes to punch, right? So I'm diverting this away. I can attack to the eyes, attack to the throat, get the ears, right? Get the nose. Doesn't matter the target necessarily, just matters the idea. But this idea of change, right? So he comes in, right? I can attack here. If he wants to come in with that other hand, I simply switch over. Right? It gets into this mode of constantly moving. So never stay in the same place. Always change and transform in this idea of reincarnating from one crane to the next. So you reincarnate from one into the other, or change. Now, the next movement is swallow skims the water. So I'm not going to do this full on because floors are hard, and I like my partner here. So he's going to throw that hand, right? So this swallow skims the water is going for the classic fireman's carry throw. So that's the movement. Some key points about the movement is, one, in the quality of the movement that we talked about, this skimming of the water, this smoothness, right? So I don't just get to here, go down, pick him up, and then throw him. I do it in one smooth motion, where I take advantage of the momentum of me going down and then coming back up in order to throw him. Because if I don't take advantage of this momentum, it won't work very well, or you'll have to just rely on bull-headed strength. Otherwise, it will just not work. You'll get crushed under the weight. The idea of this is has to have certain components at play. One, his momentum going forward. I'm going to add to that. I'm not just going to keep this here and then just pick him up. As he moves forward, I meet him and I pull as I move into the next motion. So this pulling is taking him further than he intended to go with the movement, at the same time that I'm going to meet underneath him. So this is essentially the kids in the school ground. One person's pushing the kid, the other people sit like this so they trip over. It's kind of like that. You pull him into you while you let him trip over you. And then to add to that, right, so as we get this pulling, I rotate. I don't pick up, because that's just using strength. If I'm strong enough, okay, cool, that would work. But what if he's bigger and I can't pick him up and I'm not strong enough? That's what I want to assume. So rather I use momentum and angle. So I'm not pick him up straight, but I essentially treat this as an arc. I strengthen my back, so I press into him as I pull, and then I just rotate my way through. Of course, this is all happening while we're moving forward. So it's more of like him tripping over you than me picking him up. That's the kind of subtlety to the throw. So even someone who's not super strong can do this throw, because you're using momentum and angles and proper leverage. We can also use this in a less throwy type of way. It's very akin to boxing, the bobbing and weaving, right? So he can throw in punches, right? I can use this quality here, where it's just, I'm constantly on the move, right? Okay? Just always on the move. Never letting him get a track on me. Because the moment he does track where you are, well then you're a sitting duck. You want to keep on the move. Keep that smooth motion from skimming the water. Next movement is drunken toast to Guan Yu. So this is an arm break So I'm not going to do this full on, but this is essentially the arm break here. So as he goes to punch, right, I meet him, and all of this momentum is going to shoot to the ground, which then reverberates back up. I have this wheel action that gives me this break because I pull this downwards as this reaches upwards. Just the rotation alone, without the added, is enough to, well, at least make him stand on his toes. And of course, we're not only going to break his arm, because that's letting him off too easy, right? So we're going to add in all that. Just smash the groin, smash all the way up to the face. Because why not? If you don't get one part of the technique, cool, we got the other things that we can throw in all at once, right? Groin, break, uppercut, right? Maybe one of them will work, and that's better than none of them working. So, and make sure you understand the idea of the poetry. Toasting to Guan Yu. Guan Yu is really tall, and I mean in China, typically shorter population than in the West. So think this guy is way taller than most people there. So this power is all about reaching upwards, because you're toasting this very large man, and he's also a man of status. So you're very enthusiastic about toasting this legend in flesh. So it's not just, yeah, let's toast, but it's like, no, let's toast. More enthusiasm, as it were. All right, next we have embrace the move to the chest from Baguazhang. So I'll show this in two ways. One of them is from the movement. So this can be seen as redirecting and then opening up to attack. And even if he comes in with both hands, right? So I can get one and then two. So it's one, separate, and then smash. So it's this hooking, blocking, and then striking all in once. So he attacks, and attack. Doesn't matter if you hit with both hands or just one hand. One hand's better than no hands. Another way you can look at it is a type of like a reflexive response. Say you're not knowing that you're going to fight. It's just somebody comes out and wallops you. Maybe you're in a bar and somebody's just got a little bit too drunk, right? So he might throw a punch, and this is kind of like a typical whoa, whoa kind of response. Like, what are we doing here? So this is the embrace before we give him the move. So he attacks, right? And then this attacks to the ribs, or even to the face, right? So we can move this to the side, attack the face, attack the ribs at the same time. But it's the same kind of idea, just right? Then from here, attack. So it's kind of like a bullshit, then attack. So kind of like that. Now, single whip from Taiji. The classical application is what I'll show first. So he goes to punch. So this is the hook hand, right? So this is the hook hand. Then we come through, step behind his leg. This will either smack him or stretch his neck. Then from there, you relax. Because it's the whole idea of that separation, which is where you stretch his neck, and then that relax, that's where the throw comes in. So first, you have to lock him. Because right now, I've got this lock on his arm, and through the neck, if you only get the arm, right, you only get this locked. But if you lock through here, you can see now all throughout here is locked. And I've got through to his spine, so he has a lot less mobility available to him. So from here, because I'm behind his leg, I will rotate and settle downwards in the same way that we settle downwards with the elbow. You okay?
Yeah, good.
So he goes to attack, I lock, and then throw. So that's the classical application. I'll show you another more striking application as well. So he goes to attack. So this is my cover, this is my attack, and then follow up with a hook punch. Because no one says you have to do it exactly the same in the form as you do an application. Because if you're super stickler about doing it exactly the way the form as an application, you're going to miss out on a whole lot of opportunities. So be willing to mix and match, right? So, right, this can be chop, and then this follows through. You just simply change the hook hand into a punch on the way through. So you can just think about it as 1, 2, 1, 2. So he goes to attack, right? 1, 2, and then slowly. 1, 2. You can even let this first part of the movement be like an attack, 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 attack. So you get your block, smack the back of the head, smack the chin, smack the chin. So that's single whip done a little bit more of a striking type of application. All right, that's all for this video. Thank you very much.